Hello, I'm Peter Freeth, and I wanted to share a story with you. It's an idea really born out of some experiences I've been having lately with clients who are talking about experiences in their life or challenges or that they're experiencing in life that are really seriously preventing them from getting to where they want to be or to having the kind of life experience they want, or particularly having the kind of relationships that they want. And a common theme that comes out of these conversations that I'm having in coaching sessions is a tendency to look back and look for causes early in life that I behave this way in relationships because of how I was treated as a child or the experiences I had as a child and so on. And so I wanted to address that in this short video by getting you to imagine an idea, a story, and kind of join me in that. So I want you to imagine that you've decided that you want to live by the coast, and you want to enjoy the seaside life and sort of relax and have that beautiful environment to live in. So imagine that you buy a plot of land by the beach, and you think, I'm going to build a house on this. And I know how a house works. I know what a house looks like, and it's got to have walls and windows and doors and kitchen and bathroom and plumbing and all of these things. So you know exactly what to do. So you go out to builders merchants and you start ordering all the bits and pieces and materials that you need, and you start building a house. And sure enough, after some period of time, there it is. There's your new home, and you move in, and you live there very happily for a very long time. And everything's great. It's exactly the house you've always wanted. It's by the coast. It's in the perfect location. Everything's great. And then one winter, you go upstairs one day and you notice a bit of water damage on one of the ceilings. And you have a look and you investigate and you get up in the loft and you have a look around and you find there's water coming in from the roof. So you go outside and you get a ladder and have a look. And what you find is some roof tiles have come off and the rain's getting in. So you go and get some replacement roof tiles and you replace the roof tiles and you think nothing of it. And then the spring comes and the summer and you're having a wonderful time by the coast and everything's great. And then winter comes and one day you notice a bit of water damage upstairs and it's a bit worse than it was last year. So you get the ladder out and you have a look and you find there's some more roof tiles come off. So what do? You go and get some new roof tiles and you replace them and everything's fine. And you have a wonderful spring and a summer by the coast and walking on the beach and all those wonderful things. You have a great lifestyle. It's fantastic. And winter comes and you notice a water damage on the ceiling on one of the upstairs rooms. And so you get up and you investigate and you have a look and you look in the loft and you get a ladder and you look outside and what do you find? The roof tiles have come off. And at this point, you probably start saying, cheap roof tiles, rubbish roof tiles, that guy in the builder's merchant sold me the wrong roof tiles, useless roof tiles. The roof tiles' fault. So you replace the roof tiles. Spring comes, summer comes, you have a wonderful time walking on the beach, enjoying picnics, and it's fantastic. And winter comes and there's a bit more water damage. And you started to notice some cracks upstairs, some cracks in the plaster, and you think, cheap plaster, cheap paint, it's materials fault. Maybe if you got any people professionals in to help you build the house, the plasterer did a terrible job, he didn't do it properly, there's cracks appearing in his plaster, he obviously didn't do a good job, it's cheap wallpaper, it's cracking, it's breaking, it's splitting. This goes on year after year after year. The water damage every winter gets a bit worse. You replace some roof tiles, you blame the roof tiles, cracks get a little bit bigger, you blame the materials, you blame the workmen and so on. And this goes on for years and years and years. And the cracks in the house are starting to get quite big. And it's starting to get a bit worrying, actually. So what do? One day you happen to be talking to somebody locally and they recommend, you should get this building surveyor in, get the council to come and have a look, or get this building surveyor to come and have a look. And, he'll help you figure out. And you'll say, well, I built the house. I know everything there is to know about the house. No, nobody can tell me about my house. It's ridiculous. You're the expert. You built it with your own hands. You're the expert. Nobody can tell you anything about your house. But then another winter comes and the cracks get bigger and the water damage gets worse and you replace more roof tiles. So, okay, begrudgingly, you think, okay, I'll get this expert in, let him have a look. Let's see what he knows. Let's see what this guy can tell me about my house that I know everything there is to know about. What does he know? But you feel like you've got no more ideas. You can't keep on replacing roof tiles. The cracks just get bigger. The water damage gets worse. So you decide, okay, I'm going to give him a go. And if I don't like what he says, then, if he says this, if he's critical about my house, if I don't like what he says, if I don't believe him, I don't have to listen. So the building surveyor comes along. And he says, so what's the problem with your house? And you say, well, roof tiles keep falling off. And I figure it was cheap roof tiles, or breaking and, poor quality materials, or and there's these cracks and maybe the guy that did the plastering did a bad job. So the surveyor has a look at their house. And the surveyor says, well, based on my analysis, what I've discovered is the problem with your house is that it has no foundation. It's just built on sand. And you say, well, that doesn't make any sense. I've seen loads of houses in my lifetime. I've lived in loads of houses. None of them have got a foundation. The surveyor says, no, they've all got a foundation, but you can't see it. It's what's put into the ground before the house is built. And you think, well, maybe he's got a point. Maybe, I didn't put anything down. I just started, but the ground seemed firm, seemed solid. There was nothing wrong with it, so I just started building. So what are the options? I mean, you can't dismantle the house and start again. I mean, you live there. It's your home. It's your life. It's your workmanship. You've been there, most of your life. You've been there for years. You can't just dismantle it and start again. You can't buy another plot of land and start again and just build start with a foundation and build a new house on it. So what do? The surveyor says, well, if you want to keep the house standing, the only realistic option is you've got to have a trench dug all the way around the house, and you've got to have cement pumped into the space under the house to kind of retrofit, to build, after the event, the foundation that the house should have had when it was first built. So, you don't want to lose the house. You can see, if you're honest with yourself, year after year, you keep finding yourself in the same position. You have a lovely spring, wonderful summer, everything's fine. And when winter comes around, you're back in the same situation. The damage to the house is getting a little bit worse. In your heart, you know that another few years the house is going to start falling apart. It's going to become dangerous. So you know you've got to do something. So you get the contractors in, they dig the ditch down around the house, they put cement in, and they put blocks of stone in, and they do all the work that they have to do to create the foundation underneath the house while the house is still standing. But those roof tiles are still missing. Those big cracks in the walls are still there. The damage to the decor is still there. The water damage is still there inside. The wallpaper is still torn where the cracks are in the walls. The plaster's still damaged where the cracks are. So you get some filler and you fill up the cracks on the inside. You get some mortar, you fill up the cracks on the outside to stop water getting in. But the cracks never go away. The damage that was done by building the house with no foundation, by that shifting ground that the house was built on, that damage never goes away. All you do is you patch it up and you repair it to stop it getting any worse. You build a foundation underneath the house. You repair the cracks and the holes and the damage so that it doesn't get any worse. But it never gets any better. And at first, you think, why didn't I build a house on a foundation? What's wrong with me? Why did I make this terrible mistake? Look what it's cost me now, and it's terrible. And look what it's done to my house. My beautiful house has got cracks in it. My beautiful house has got damage. It's got this torn wallpaper. It's got this water damage. It's got these cracks on the outside. It's got these cracks on the inside. What am I going to do? And then over time, you slowly start to think to yourself, actually, do you know what? When I look around, I see lots of houses with cracks in. I see lots of houses with roof tiles damaged, or odd coloured roof tiles where individual ones have been replaced. I see lots of houses with cracks that have been patched in with new mortar. I see lots of houses with bits, maybe with new window frames fitted that clearly aren't original, with bits that have been replaced and added to over the years. And I go to friends' houses and I see lots of houses with things that don't quite fit together and cracks. And actually, it's kind of nice. It's kind of homely. And after a while, you start to realise all those cracks and all that damage. You've put the foundations in place, and you've realised you've done what, okay, you should have done, but you didn't. You didn't know any better. That's okay. You did the best that you could at the time. And now that you've learned better, you've done something about it. That's what's important. And over the years, you come to regard all of that, what you'd previously thought of as damage, as now being just part of the character of the house. And each crack and each different coloured roof tile tells a story. As that story's there for anybody to see. But people don't judge you and criticise you for it. They're interested in the story. And when you tell them your story about the mistakes you made building your house, they say, yeah, don't get me started on the mistakes I've made building my house. And then you find everyone's done exactly the same thing. And then you realise not only do all of those little quirks and changes and alterations over the years give your house character, it's what makes it home. It's what gives you that sense of belonging. It's what gives you that sense of safety and normality. And everyone else feels the same way in their home. Thanks for watching.